Hello everybody, welcome to this training session presented by LearnFront. My name is Sean Payne and I will be your instructor. This session is part of a collection of training discussing Amazon Web Services and the various resources and service offerings within their cloud infrastructure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This lesson is going to discuss Amazon Web Services security best practices as it relates to Elastic Compute Cloud, also known as EC2 instance protection. As we discussed earlier in the shared responsibility model, EC2 is more of an infrastructure as a service resource. Therefore, some of the responsibilities for data protection and securing your environment are going to be a little bit more relied and burdened on the customer. So with that being said, we're going to go through some of the things that you might want to consider. So first things first, because we are going to be controlling the operating system and application tier stack environment, you're going to want to make sure you go through and provide a best security practice standard on controlling access to those resources, patching the software accordingly, and ultimately providing and applying some hardening principles into those EC2 resources. Additionally, you can use IAM or Identity and Access Management to limit access to those resource controls. So again, IAM doesn't provide control over the remote control access or through SSH or RDP into those resources, but rather control who inside your AWS Cloud Infrastructure account has access to stop, start, provision, deploy, etc., configure, etc., other resources. So obviously IAM can play a huge role in protecting your infrastructure from that perspective. You can use EC2 key pairs to limit remote access via SSH and RDP. So some IAM users might not actually need that remote control SSH or RDP access. So again, you can pick and choose within IAM which users have access to those key pairs to gain access to the remote control of your resources. You generally want to rotate those keys every 30 to 90 days. And if you discover there's any unused key pairs, you'll want to remove access to those key pairs as well. There's a feature within provisioning called Enable Termination Protection. So effectively by turning this on, or enabling that, it will add another layer of protection just in an event of somebody trying to turn that instance off. It can provide a component or layer of security to prevent those actions. You might want to really consider and look hard at your security groups. We discussed that inside VPC, and make sure your EC2 resources are associated with the property security groups that offer port access and variety of controls in traffic flows into your resources. So again, security groups are a really important component. It is a VPC layer component, but they are directed at, because it's offering the firewall level instance protection, you really want to ensure proper use of those security groups. You can use of custom AMIs. Those are Amazon machine images, and as you go through and build out your EC2 infrastructure, instead of using default AMIs or even community AMIs, you can go ahead and create your own machine image that has all the hardening and policy controls that you're looking for, and use any new resources that you spin up either through individual EC2 instances or through autoscale or elastic beanstalk or really a multitude of other methods that you're using resources. Highly advised using custom AMIs to launch those configuration requirements. We touched on loosely about autoscaling. It can help you manage the life cycle of your resources. So instead of actually showing downtime on your resources. You can, behind the scenes, again, through the use of AMIs, you can spin up a resource, provide all the hardening and upgrading and software patching and installation and all those sorts of things, and then repackage and associate that AMI with an auto-scaling group, which then can bring down the older resources and reinforce it with the new ones. So it's a really great way of doing something like that for maintenance purposes. The bootstrapping of instances, you might want to consider using various automation tools. Amazon Cloud offers a variety of methods. There's a utility and service called OpsWorks. They also have a utility called Cloud-init. Some of you might make use of Puppet, Chef, even just simple bash scripting, or on the Linux side or on the Windows side, you can use PowerShell scripts again for bootstrapping instances. This can help you protect your instances and ensure they have the right configuration for their resource use case. And additionally, you might want to consider looking at enabling encryption inside your EBS volumes, and this would help you protect data at rest. So EBS, or Elastic Block Store, offers encryption by default, although you have to choose that upon instance creation, volume and instance creation. Alternatively, you can look at other vendor and third-party tools. Microsoft offers Windows EFS or BitLocker. On the Linux side, you can use DMCrypt or some other third-party tools like TrueCrypt or SafeNet Protect V. So those are some of the things to consider with EC2 and instance protection. Again, remember, it's your requirement as a customer inside the shared responsibility model to make sure the operating system is hardened, patched, you're using the proper security groups to control access into and out of your EC2 resources. And yep, that just kind of summarized things a little bit. All right, well, that wraps up this lesson discussing Amazon Web Services security best practices as it relates to Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2 instance protection. I wanted to share with you a few valuable resource links that you might find of interest to continue your study. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy cloud computing.